How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for the weekend of March 30th and 31st, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys had a great week. Happy weekend. Happy end of March. Can't believe that we're already here, so damn. This moon is coming. It's in Sagittarius now, so by early Saturday morning, the moon's going to square Mars, right? So this is that energy where we're ready to go on a big-ass adventure. We're ready to, try new things, think new things, learn new things. It's the moon in Sag wants to have fun all the time in a very big way. And when it squares Pisces, or any planet in Pisces, it's like we can kind of get lost, right? It's kind of like you just want to get in a car and drive to nowhere or anywhere or, wherever the road takes you. And it's easy to kind of fall into another reality. This is very down the rabbit hole energy. When Sagittarius planets or bodies or luminaries, like we're talking about the moon, square planets or bodies in Pisces, this is very Alice in Wonderland kind of vibe, right? So I think this weekend we can kind of want to go on some big adventures and escape reality and, try new things and experiment with different versions of reality. It's almost like timelines are kind of crossing this weekend, and we can kind of venture into new timelines and new territories, and it could be very fun. It could be very experimental and creative and spiritual and philosophical and, definitely a high spiritual vibration this weekend, but we have to really keep it real. We don't want to be, drunk driving and shit this weekend. This is, this can be very, one of these weekends where it can be kind of accident prone. I think I said this yesterday, but this is right around midnight, Saturday morning. So the moon's going to square Mars. So if you're feeling like, you're losing grip of reality this weekend, that's okay. I think it's easy to ride those waves. If you're not wanting to hold on to reality too much, this is definitely one of these weekends where you want to escape and have fun. But at the same time, it's like the moon's going to square Mars, which can be very interesting. It'll lead you to interesting places. You just want to be in touch with reality as much as you possibly can, and it can be hard to do with Sagittarius planets squaring all these planets in Pisces. The moon's going to square Saturn, but the moon will trine the sun, which is super fire. I was born with this. I have moon in Sag, exactly trining my sun in Aries. So I love this energy. This is a lot of fun. We just have to be careful. We have to, know that we're still human beings in a meat sack on a planet, on a rock, floating through space. We're not, invincible here. This is very impulsive energy. It can take us on some great adventures, and we can use this energy to discover new things and want to learn new things. And, if you've been willing to, or if you've had the desire or want to try new things, experiment, dabble in new territories spiritually, or, tap into some new knowledge, like this is the kind of weekend to do so. The spiritual vibration is super high, with these mutable planets. And now the moon trining the sun, like it's like it's go time, it's party time, it's fun time. But after that, the moon will square Saturn. So this is kind of when like the reality starts to set in of like, damn, like, you step too far out of bounds or out of reality, or, it's like this is when the reality check starts to come in. So it's like if you're going through this moon square Mars energy here, it's like this is when the reality of like, man, I've gone too far. I need to take a breath, not, overdo things, or, it's 2:00 in the afternoon and you're still pounding a 30 pack. You may want to think again about that kind of energy, right? It's like, this is that energy to really like focus your spiritual energy and not channel the spiritual channel your spiritual energy in a misguided kind of way, and that's what Sagittarius and Pisces teach us is, we can have fun in Sagittarius. We can want to escape reality in Pisces, right? But at the same time, we can use that energy to learn new things and increase our spiritual vibration, and that's what Sagittarius and Pisces is all about, is acquiring new knowledge and increasing our spiritual vibration. When these two planets, or when these two signs come together, that's what it's all about. Increasing our spiritual vibration with expanding our knowledge in all kinds of ways, and I think, like I said, it's like, if this is one of these, if you've been feeling like, it's like, I want to learn new things, I want to expand my knowledge, I want to increase my spiritual awareness, like, this is the weekend where we can really tap into that and find some amazing things too, but at the same time, it's like later, going into Sunday, it's like the moon will square Venus. So when it comes to our beliefs and our values, there can be some emotional kind of tests here. And, especially when in our relationships, it's like we want to not try to pound our beliefs down people's throats this weekend, or if you're feeling like someone's being a little dogmatic or, trying to force their opinions and beliefs onto you, or if, you can feel that coming from the outside matrix of things, right? If you're feeling that kind of energy, it could be a little overwhelming, especially with the moon in Sag. It's so hot and it wants to just like express itself in a loud, powerful way. Definitely want to stay in that place of compassion and understand that, we all have our own beliefs. We all have our own opinions. Not everybody's values are the same, but we can learn from one another. And I think the moon in Sag squaring Venus and Pisces, we can really learn from each other, as long as we're open to all sides and all opinions and all levels of awareness and levels of knowledge, right? Not everybody's awareness is the same. Not everybody's knowledge that's acquired is at the same level, right? So this is the weekend where it's like we can really dive in and learn new things and go on journeys in a very inward way. And maybe this is how I feel too. This is what's coming through, is that, like, especially on Saturday, early Saturday morning when the moon squares Mars and then the moon will square Saturn. It's like, I think the lesson is too, it's like, we want to have fun and we want to go on a journey, but it's like, I think with all these Pisces placements too, like, because Neptune's so strong here, the moon in Sag is not really winning this kind of conflict, because the squares can bring up a lot of conflict, right? So we could see some conflict too with this moon square Venus, moon square Mars, like, it's like, we want to go on an inward journey, maybe not necessarily on an external journey, right? Like, let's just go out on the town and go crazy. It's like, I think we want to utilize this energy to go inward spiritually. If we're focusing on the external, we're going to kind of miss the point here. Because what's going to happen too here after this moon squares Venus, which can really challenge our values and our relationships and our opinions and beliefs, and things can kind of, get a little testy here. I think what's going to happen too at 27 degrees, Mercury is at 27 degrees. It's just about ready to go retrograde. So, if we feel like communication's a little off, we can get a little help here from the moon, which will trine over to Mercury. So there can be some very helpful, fiery, intense conversations, but at the same time, this moon's going to square Neptune as the moon is trining Mercury. So, we could feel like there can be some positive communication here about like how we want to expand our minds, expand our knowledge, the knowledge we want to share with one another that can help each other grow. But at the same time, it's like, we don't want to get too over the top with this moon squaring Neptune, because the vibration is still super, super, super sensitive here. And the moon in Sag is not the most sensitive energy at all. So, and Neptune is winning right now. It's still the most potent, dominant planet right now, especially with Venus exalted in Pisces, and it's 3 degrees away from making its conjunction with Neptune, and Mars and Saturn. I mean, there's 4 planets in Pisces, so that's where the density lies. So, if we feel like things are ramping up too much, we want to step back and kind of check ourselves, And when the moon squares Saturn this weekend too, it's like, we want to, just kind of touch ourselves, touch around. It's like, yeah, we're still real. This world is still real. Everything is still physical, And also just keep in mind of other people's like energy this weekend. I mean, there could be a lot of subconscious, unconscious projection coming from all directions, That could be a little overwhelming. And sometimes, if you're not really aware, or some people may not have the awareness that you do, or vice versa, we don't want to expect people to meet us where we're at, right? Nobody's at the same place as you. We're all in different areas, so, and we always got to remind ourselves when the moon's in Sag, and especially when the moon's in Sag, squaring Neptune, squaring Venus, squaring Saturn and Mars and Pisces, it's like, the moon in Sag could be kind of a little too intense for all these Pisces placements. So the moon's going to get here, it's going to come along and make some nice harmony with Mercury. So we can feel like, oh, I think we're starting to understand each other now. But it's like we still have to kind of keep the flame in check. It's like we don't want to turn the burner on too high, or we'll burn the freaking pan, right? We'll burn what we're cooking. We want to, we want to cook the meal on a slow burn this weekend, if that makes sense. Especially with Mercury. I mean, it's totally stopped now. It's at 27. By tomorrow, when we come into Monday, April 1st, April Fool's, Mercury's gonna be retrograde officially. So, I mean, how about that for April Fool's? It's like Mercury's moving forward. We feel like communication's moving smoothly, and it's like, oh, April Fool's, gotcha. Then we got to really rethink things and revise things. So it's just, the sensitivity's at an all-time high this weekend. Still, it's been very high, but I feel like it's being challenged by this moon in Sag. So, and when the moon in Sag is just like, yeah, I don't really give a fuck. Like, let's just go. Let's just party. Let's just go on an adventure. Let's just, leave all of our things behind and just take what we need and say, fuck it, right? When it squares all these planets in Pisces, especially with Neptune and Venus like this, it's just like, man, you can fall out of reality really quick. So, do things that we could channel the spiritual energy in a positive way and not in an unrealistic, ridiculous kind of way, right? This moon in Sag is super over the top, But it's great. It has the sun in Aries and Mercury in Aries to really help understand itself and understand these emotions in a personal way. But also reminding ourselves to have compassion, understand that not everybody is where we're at, or not everybody can keep up with you, or not everybody has the same level of understanding or awareness or knowledge, so we can help each other by understanding each other and sharing our information that, we've acquired. And I think that's important this weekend, is sharing that information in a positive way. And I think spiritually we can really expand. And that's what I love about Sag and Pisces together when they get together. I mean, yeah, they square and they can challenge each other. And it really is about like the sensitivity of Pisces and the insensitivity of Sagittarius, really trying to understand each other, because they're both, to me, the most spiritual and magical signs of the zodiac. Sagittarius is all about spirituality and philosophy and the higher mind and natural law and understanding that there's divine purpose. That's what Sag in the ninth house is all about, and Jupiter, and Pisces is no different. Before Neptune was discovered, Jupiter was the ruling planet of Pisces and Sagittarius. They come from the same source of understanding. So spiritually, intellectually, and that divine connection, that's what Sag and Pisces is all about, and they share that commonality. But where they differ is the sensitivity and the understanding of sensitivity and the compassion. They understand that in a different way. So when Sag and Pisces energy gets together like this, we have to remind ourselves that, it's like we can't just go full steam ahead with the moon and Sag. We have to really look at reality. We have to look at our fantasies, and we have to look at the sensitivity of others and the compassion that we must have for other people. And, especially with the sun and Mercury in Aries, like it could be very insensitive energy, but all these planets in Pisces are asking us to be in a more sensitive, compassionate place and understand each other in that area in a much healthier fashion. So let's see what we got. We have the Justice card. Never pulled this card in a while. So I think, there could be some, judgment coming through. And it's like, we don't, at the same time, we don't want to be overly judgmental of people. It's easy with the moon and Sag and all these Pisces placements. It's like, when we're talking about Jupiter traditionally ruling Pisces and Sagittarius together, it's like, it's all about beliefs, right? And it's like, it could be it's like, oh, like they think that, like, well, blah, blah, blah. And the judgmental aspect of the moon and Sag can come through very much. But also the South Node in Libra still, it's like, karmically, we're in the eclipse cycles. So there can still be a lot of karmic stuff popping out and playing out in our lives here. And it's going to be that way for the next 30 days until we get to the next new full moon, because we got the solar eclipse in Aries coming up here on April 8th. So, and this is a big one. This is a very big one. And, we don't have that many. So this is the last Aries Libra eclipses we're going to have with the sun in Aries. Because by the time we get to January 2025, the North Node's moving on to Pisces and the South Node's moving on to Virgo. So this is the last set of eclipses we're going to have, and then with the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra. So, there's a lot of judgment being cast right now. And it's like, well, we have to accept other people for who they are, where they're at, and that's what Pisces teaches us. And this Venus, Neptune, Saturn in Pisces is definitely teaching us to be more compassionate of other people, and not be so critical of others, And this moon in Sag this week can be very critical. It can be very judgmental. It's like, you don't know what I know. It's like, I know everything. It's very moon in Sag, right? And Venus in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces and Neptune and Mars is like, well, I know people who believe in this, and I know some people who believe in that, and I believe this, but I also think this. And it's like, Pisces is very good at being able to understand and tap into all areas of life, and that's also the dark side of Pisces too, is that it's so caught up in every possible area that, like, it has no identity at all. It just is everything. It is the all, right? It's where everything comes to completion, the 12th house. And Sag very much knows what it believes and what it wants to tell people and show people and all that kind of shit. So that's the vibe going on this weekend, is being able to want to take a big adventure and to learn new things and express our knowledge and share information with one another and help each other learn and help each other grow and understand other people's perspectives and points of view, but also not get too caught up in the dogma, too caught up in judgment, as the Justice card brings up, and, being able to expand. The more we can listen to other people and understand other people, the more we can expand our minds. And that's what Sagittarius and Jupiter in the 9th house is all about, is expansion, expanding our minds, expanding our knowledge, expanding our environment. And with Jupiter and Taurus, it's all about expanding our material world, which is super amazing. So Mercury's going retrograde by the time we get to Monday. So I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Take things in moderation. I know I said that yesterday. I'm saying that for the whole weekend with the moon and Sag. Take things in moderation this weekend. And the moon will try and Chiron. So there could be this level of healing as long as we're willing to listen to one another, and learn. Like, we can really learn a lot from other people this weekend. And with Mercury going retrograde as well in Aries, I think it's more about listening to other people and not just saying what's off the top of your head, all the time, which some of us really do. If you have Mercury and Aries in your chart, you really don't even think about what you say, right? It's just more about, like, that moment of, well, this is how I feel. This is what I'm going to say, whether you like it or not, right? So this is a weekend where, it can remind us that, hey, if we think before we speak, we really listen to other people, that's where we can really expand and really develop healthier relationships with the people we care about and ourselves ultimately. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel. Like this video, leave a comment, say what's up. All the links to all of my social media platforms are in the description of this video, with my Instagram, Spotify, TikTok, all that shit. If you want to book a reading with me, the link to my booking website is in the description of this video as well. So, and I am going to be posting a reading sale next week for May. May's starting to book out, so I'm going to let it go through June as well. But this is focusing on the Jupiter-Uranus, Sun-Jupiter conjunction that we're about to go through, and Venus is going to be there, and Taurus being ruled by Venus. I think it's very important to see what we're all going through individually, and I might do a singular video on it as well. So that'll be posted by next week. I've been waiting for Mercury to kind of go retrograde to really get those things in order. So, and that's the thing about Mercury retrograde. It's like you want to utilize the Mercury retrograde to go over things and revise things and set things up, not start new things. And everyone's just like, oh my God, Mercury retrograde, blah, blah, blah. This shit sucks. We got 3 weeks where we should just sleep forever. It's just like, no. There's great benefit to utilize it to your advantage. So we can talk more about that by the time we get to Monday. So anyway, have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Peace.